music, and many more. To listen to our programs, follow us live on all our social media platforms on Facebook at Aloore Radio, Twitter and Instagram at Aloore Radio. You can also subscribe on our YouTube page on Aloore Radio. Make sure you click on the notification bell so you know when we are live. This is Aloore Radio, the voice of Oyo State.
Transmitting from the GSM Studio, Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism here in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. I want to sincerely welcome you to the second edition of the Hos Speaks. I am Abuye Dioju. I'm going to be your anchor for today's program. The aim of this program is actually an interactive program geared towards creating and fostering relationship between the Office of the Head of Service in Oyo State and the public and the civil servants of Oyo State. Today's episode is coming up at this time due to the state function that the Head of Service had to be in, but subsequently the program Hos Speaks will be coming up fortnightly on Thursday between the time of 1 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. That is fortnight on Thursdays, 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Again, I want to introduce our guest on this program. You've heard it all. The program is Hos Speaks. And who is in that better position to actually talk to us than the number one civil and public servant in Oyo State, the Head of Service, Mrs. Ololade Agbola. We'll welcome you to Aloore Radio. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to have you again on this program. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And before I proceed, I will also want to appreciate the directors here present from the HOS office and also the PS directors of the MICT, that is the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, that accompany the Head of Service to the studio. I welcome everybody to the studio for today's program, the Head of Service Speaks. We appreciate you, honor for your presence again in Aloore Radio. And before we go on this special edition again, we would like to have a short break. And please do stay tuned. The Oyo State Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism wishes to announce its tour of tourist sites in Ibadan, coming up on the 9th and 10th February 2023. Some sites to be visited are the Captain Bars Tower, Okeare, Ibadan, Ancient Palaces in Ibadan, National Museum of Unity, National Commission for Museums and Monuments at Aleshinloye, Ibadan, Makpo Hall, Ibadan, among others. Interested participants are to pay the sum of 2,000 naira for transportation to the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism Zenith Bank account 12137167737. The Zenith Bank account 121371677 on or before Friday, 3rd February 2023. Announcer, Oyo State Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism. Welcome back to the Head of Service Speaks here in Aloore Radio, transmitting from the GSM Studio, Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, Agodi Secretariat here in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. And to join Aloore on this radio station, you can join us on our Facebook, www.facebook.com/Aloore Radio. Also on our YouTube at Aloore Radio, on the website www.alooreradio. And of course, our mobile line is open today, but we will be giving you the particular time to actually call in. The call-in section will be open very soon. But the number to call is 090-398-53731. Again, the studio line is 090-398-53731. And before we go on for today's topic, I would quickly want to give a recap of what we had the last episode of the Hos Speaks. On the maiden edition, the HOS graciously rolled out the various outstanding achievements since assumption of office under the present administration. Our honor shared our experience as the #1 civil and public servant with us in Oyo State. Also, she graciously spoke on our expectation from civil and public servants, especially during this period that electioneering campaign is going on. We thank you so sincerely, Your Honor, for all that you did.
Thank you.
And we will quickly want to go on what we have to discuss for today. For today, Your Honor, we graciously want you to shed light on issues relating on training for civil and public servants in Oyo State. And if time permits us also, we would also want to touch on the area of the recently approved 2021 promotion. So without wasting your precious time, we want to proceed. Can we go ahead, Ma?
Thank you very much, and I say good afternoon to everybody. And as you gave the recap of what happened the last episode, we still want to start from there. I want to start from that to still say kindly, I want to enjoin all civil servants to ensure that they go out for the election on the day of the election that we participate. If we have enjoyed ourselves, that we must obtain our PVC, and I hope that we have it, and that we are going to ensure that we go out to vote. Our vote counts. We have that assurance that our vote counts, and we should still go out and ensure that we perform that civic responsibility. So on that note, I say good afternoon again, and for the new one, the new episode, you've just asked on the issue of training in the civil public service.
Yes, ma'am.
What is important that we must note is that His Excellency Governor Seyi Makinde identified the civil public service as the engine room of his administration, and we have seen and observed that there has been low performance generally from all level of the service. And one of the things that we thought was necessary was to boost the morale of our workers, and one of the things that we thought we should do was to expose them to necessary training to facilitate and improve the knowledge, because we want them to be effective, we want them to be efficient, we want them to be able to develop themselves, develop the civil service, and be able to ensure that the dividend of democracy gets to the masses. So the first thing we did was to identify those agencies that are responsible for training. While the Office of the Head of Service is responsible for training, we also have the Ministry of Establishment and Training is in place. With the school, we have the Semi-Adebo Staff Development Center, and we also have the training being undertaken by the Local Government Service Commission and the Ministry of Local Government. The one for Local Government Service Commission trains all officers in the local government, and for us, the Office of Head of Service, we deal with generally the entire workforce, and we ensure that the Ministry of Establishment is able to center the training programs on those that are in the level 1 to 6, and also the senior officers from 7 to 12. So that kind of the agencies, we came together to be able to identify the training needs. Circulars were written for each agency, each cadre, each profession to be able to identify their training needs. And so when we have the training needs, we started out. And we approach His Excellency. No, the fund is not there, but
I was actually going there for that's the second question. Sorry to give you a pause, Your Honor,
okay.
because it's mind blowing that even at this situation in Nigeria, in Oyo State, where everything is about paucity of funds, the administration, your office is still going ahead to have all this training, all these conferences. What is the magic wand that you're actually using? It's amazing.
To us, it's still, we are just starting. To us, it's still, we've not been able to get there. We don't have it perfectly arranged yet in terms of everybody having the net required. We'll be able to identify the needs, but we've started. So we are yet to get there. But what is most important is that we have started to identify the needs of everybody, and we have started to come in within ourselves. What can we do? We started a mobile clinic. We call it a mobile clinic workshop, wherein we started with going to agencies with minimal amount of money. We go to that agency after identifying their needs. We take along with our resource person, either within or outside, and we're able to ensure that those ones, they get the rudiments of what they are doing. What we observe is that most people, most civil or public servants, they need to be updated on the new things that are happening. So the best thing we can do is to expose them to that kind of training. We ensure that they also participate in conferences anytime they are invited out, or a professional body. If we have about 100 in the service that are in that cadre, we ensure that we are able to send about 20. So because we cannot foot the bill of sending 100, 200 outside the state. And you observe that most of these conferences, they are taking as far as Abuja, they go to Port Harcourt, they go to all these places, and it's expensive for us by the time you put in the flight ticket alone. So what we do is to ensure that, we are represented. There is no conference of any professional body that I don't make sure that we have at least 5 people representing us. So that has given the civil to public servant, they believe that somebody somewhere is taking care of them. So we are just calling and enjoying them that to whom much is given, much is expected. If you are not able to attend a training outside the state now, but you have opportunity to attend those within, because we have organized so many within Ibadan, we ensure that we put people together and we train them on the need for them to be alert and to be able to perform their duty better, so that the masses will benefit from what we do in our offices.
Thank you so very much. I believe that the people, the public and civil servants listening out there are being encouraged, and they know that the woman in the helms of affairs in Oyo State is a passionate woman that actually has their interest at heart, and she's doing all that she can through our office. The office of the head of service in Oyo State is doing all that it has in its power to make sure that all civil servants and public servants in Oyo State benefit from each and every training that is being rolled out from the office. On this note, we would want to take a short break, and when we come back, the phone lines will be opened for you to call in, and the phone number again is 09039853731. 09039853731. We will be right back after this short break.
Hello, the good people of Oyo State and its environs. Oyo State Internal Revenue Service, on behalf of Oyo State government, is saying thank you all for being patriotic. As we can all see, Oyo State is progressing progressively well under Engineer Seyi Makinde-led administration, and also working assiduously to have an egalitarian society which is capable of attracting local and foreign investors to come into Oyo State. This is as a result of your taxes. Oh yes, a well-performed masquerade encourages its confederacy. We are pleased to tell you that you are wonderful people. Please keep on paying your taxes regularly and promptly for the betterment of Oyo State. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance to all. Oyo State, Ometi Totiro, pay your tax.
here in Aloore Radio, transmitting from the GSM Studio Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, Agudi Secretariat. And here in our studios, we are still talking with no other person than the woman in the helms of affairs of the head of service in Oyo State, Mrs. Agbola. Thank you, Ma, for honoring our invitation once again and for all that we've been discussing. And for our listeners out there, the phone line is now open, 09039853731. And please note, for those that will be calling in, we are discussing on training, and we would want to stick on that issue along for those that will be calling in. Please, no financial issues are to be asked. We don't want to discuss on that. The HOS is here to discuss on issues pertaining to training, and we will appreciate you if you would stick to that. Thank you again, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Before we get the phone calls, we're still talking about training, and there's one question that has been actually bothering the minds of some of the civil servants, and there's perception among civil and public servants in the state that selection of training favors or tilts towards particular cadres than others. Your Honor, can you kindly clarify this perception, ma'am?
Thank you very much. I will say that should be seen as a wrong perception. As I said earlier, we have been able to do the needs assessment of agencies of government from the returns that is sent to us in the Office of Head of Service and the returns sent to Ministry of Establishment. And I also said earlier that we have the issue of a paucity of fund. So, and we know the number of staff that we have in Oyo State alone. For the state government to be able to cater for everybody, huge amount of money will be required. We have started, I said it, that we have started. And part of what we have been doing is when we move out, we train from within. I'll give an example when His Excellency approved for teachers to be trained. It was surely supposed to be just teaching methodology, but we introduced the need for them to have administrative skills. 2 of my directors followed them to every zone that they went to, and a number of people were reached, because we need to ensure that everybody is able to know the administrative issues involved in the performance of duty. As a teacher, you are not you are not expected to teach your students alone. You are expected to relate with the parents of those students. So how do you relate? How do you cope? So that is part of what we are saying, that now it would be a wrong perception to say it's tilted. But so those people that have been covered, they know they have been covered. And we have a records of those that have been covered. We have a new year that is starting. So we are moving on. You just have to, they have to give us time for us to be able to reach everybody. And so with something, training and retraining, there had been an embargo on it for a long time. For some years, it was stopped. So we are starting, we have to start and be sure that we are starting well. So those are the people that have been able to benefit so far. Others that are yet to, we will surely get to them. We are keeping records in the Office of the Head of Service of those that have gone. And we normally, at the beginning of the year like this, we sent out circular letters, and with mandates that if each agency is to nominate, kindly ensure that you nominate people that have not benefited in one training program or the other. That's the only way we can spread this. And we also believe that training a person, it should be an issue of training and retraining. So when you get back, you should be able to train others. I want to recall there was a time His Excellency approved a training program for some permanent secretaries to go for 4 weeks program in Kuru, Jos. And when they came back, all permanent secretaries were assembled together. Your permanent secretary was one of those that went, and they had to train us on what they gained there. So we cannot send all the permanent secretaries that we have for that program. It was meant for permanent secretaries, but we were able to know and to gain and benefit those people that were at home, because we ensure that you are able to train others. So we want to just say, any agency that send people out on training program, when they come back, don't just accept it that they've gone. Let them be able to pass something on to others. so that all of us and the system will benefit from it. So it's a wrong perception. We've started, and we're going to ensure that every other person gets trained and retrained.
Thank you so much, Your Honor, for clearing that perception on that
It's
training.
normal.
But at the same time, on a lighter note, since you are with us here in Ministry of Information, I want to say that information officers, we are be put in the next training.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a professional body.
Thank you so much.
But you see, there are times when it is even necessary for you to ensure that when returns are being sent, you are able to participate and say what you actually need. Your requirement as an information officer might be different from that of a doctor, medical doctor. So that's why the kind of thing that we're requiring. So get in touch with your director admin and ensure that that request for your professional need is submitted when we are calling for.
I believe the directors that are
the director in charge,
they are listening right now, and they will do the next needful very soon. Thank you so much, Your Honor, for that, man. And you guys, those listening to us and would want to call in, as I said earlier, the phone line is opened, and the number again is 09039853731. The head of service is here, and she will definitely answer your question on anything bordering on training. Please, we would appreciate if you don't ask questions relating to any financial issues, but we are discussing on training. And before we go on another break, let me go on with this line of question. Despite the fact that the current administration in the state tries as much as possible to make sure that the newly recruited and or converted officers get acquainted with their core responsibilities, it has been observed that some officers are still found wanting in performance of their duties. What can be done further to correct this anomaly,
Thank you very much. And I will say, don't let us limit it to those newly converted, because your question is talking about newly converted officers or those that had the transfer of service. I want us to be able to generalize it and say it's the issue of being wanting, being low in performance, the issue of not being hard working as required is not limited to those ones alone. We have seen that it could be seen in all agencies of government that some people are just not living up to expectation. And I must say that we must be able to see ourselves, assess ourselves. Are we doing well? And we are not perfect. So we expect people that observe that we have not done what we should do to kindly tell us. We have the rules and regulations that guides us. And I always say that everybody should become conversant with the contents of the rules and regulations. If you have been given a job to open a registry and you're expected to be there by 8, and your people from outside come there by 8:30 and you are not there, it speaks volume. And when you listen to discussions on air, either radio, television, the civil service is receiving a lot of bashing here and there. We are the closest to the people. They expect a lot of things from us as civil servants, because they believe that anything that government says, the policy of government can only benefit it through the civil servant. So when we are not performing, they will know it. So we want to call on all civil to public servants, being teacher, those in the ministries, those in the local government, those especially in our hospitals. We need to have a good face. The face of this civil or public service or civil or public servant, our face should be the face of government. If a government is in place and that government is doing well, it can only be felt and benefited by people through the kind of attitude that we have. So that's why I would say, don't let us limit it to newly converted officers. Newly converted officers, they've been given a sort of orientation program. It's been a long time. There was embargo on conversion for a very long time. And those people that have additional qualification, they could not convert. Those people that want to move from one level to the other, they could not. But His Excellency Governor Seyi Makinde came and approved conversion. And now we've had conversion. We had in 2000, we had in 2001, and we had in 2002. That's 3 consecutive years. We had conversion. They had exam, they had interview, and they were duly converted. So we just call on them. They should follow the rules and regulations that guide their office, so that it will not be as you have labeled, that they will just observe that newly converted officers are not living up to expectation. Kindly just enjoy, all of us, be productive, be able to carry the face of government that we serve. Let us be approachable, so that the dividend of democracy that we all talk about will get to the masses.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. But before I will let you go, because we'll be running off the program very soon, I believe some civil and public servants will want to know should they be expecting a new or improved procedure for the 2021 promotion exercise, or status quo remains?
It depends on what you mean by status quo remaining.
Are we having the normal examination, interviews, or is there going to be any changes?
I'm happy that you said the normal one. No, the normal one is for us to have examination, interview, assessments, and all other things before you get your letter. But we know because we had outstanding promotion for 4 years, 2017 to 2020. So when His Excellency the governor came in 2019, we could not go from saying we want to have examination for everybody for the 4-year promotion. So he graciously approved that, okay, let's have the examination removed. And so with the examination part of it was removed, and we all had the interview. We are also due now for 2021 promotion. His Excellency has approved in principle that we carry out that exercise. We've started the procedure as commenced, but we are yet to approach him whether we are going to waive the examination part of it. It's a normal one to have examination. We want to be assured that we are able to say we have a system for award of merit, and that's why we say we might have the examination, but His Excellency will be the final one that will approve whether we waive it. He has given approval in principle. We have collated the financial implication, because he has to know what is going to be the financial implication when we are promoted. We have done that, we submitted, but whether we are going to have examination will be when we have his approval to do.
Thank you so very much, Your Honor. I believe that civil servants, public servants listening out there are actually satisfied with all that you have spoken to us today. And on this note, on behalf of the Honorable Commissioner of the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, and person of Honorable Wasiu Olatubosun, our PS here, Mr. Oyedele, management and staff of the Ministry of Information, we sincerely appreciate you, Your Honor, for graciously honoring our invite despite your busy schedule. We really do appreciate you. We thank you, ma, and we appreciate your leadership style and your steps taken towards ensuring that the state civil and public servant is moved forward. We sincerely appreciate you, Your Honor. Thank you, ma.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming to the Hos Speaks for today. And so, viewers, you can join us again for another edition of Hos Speaks come 9th of February 2023. As I said earlier, the program is fortnightly. And so for the next program, it's going to be on the 9th of February 2023 for another interesting edition. And the time for the next edition is going to be from 1 to 1:30 p.m. on Thursday. From 1 to 1:30 p.m. on Thursday. My name is Oyedele. We thank you so much for being here today, and we sincerely appreciate your honor once more for coming to Aloore Radio in the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism. Thank you so much, Your Honor.
The
The Oyo State Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism wishes to announce its tour of tourist sites in Ibadan, coming up on the 9th and 10th February 2023. Some sites to be visited are the Captain Bar's Tower, Okeare, Ibadan, Ancient Palaces in Ibadan, National Museum of Unity, National Commission for Museums and Monuments at Aleshinloye, Ibadan, Makpo Hall, Ibadan, among others. Interested participants are to pay the sum of 2,000 naira for transportation to the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism Zenith Bank account 12137167737. The Zenith Bank account 121371677 on or before Friday, 3rd February 2023. Announcer, Oyo State Ministry of Information, Culture and... This is Aloore Radio.